I'm going to share an insight with you that has changed something in my life and in my business. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Love Experiment. I am hugely, massively interested in the power of love to change anything and everything for the better. And on a day-to-day basis, I'm living with that question in my mind. What would love do here? And living into that and getting curious about the results and then sharing them with you in these videos and inviting you to join in with me, because I truly believe that this is the power that's going to change everything, even in this crazy world that we live in. So, welcome. So what is that insight? What was that insight I have, and what has it changed? So how many times do you not do things that you know that you can do because of the craziness going on in your mind? Take this video, for example. I'm here making this video. When I had the idea to make it, can you hear that noise going on outside? Well, that was one of the things. You can't make a video when there's noise, when there's something going on outside. What I recognised in that was a really good excuse to get out of making it. And then it started with, your hair doesn't look right. This isn't right. That doesn't look right. You don't quite know what you're going to say. All this noise in my mind trying to talk me out of doing this video. But something had shifted in me. I'd had an insight and something shifted, and here I am. So I'm going to share that with you right now. What was that insight? I have got an amazing relationship with my partner. Neither one of us are perfect, and there are definitely things that we see differently and things that we fundamentally stand differently on certain things, and yet we have a beautiful relationship. We are deeply in love, we care about each other, we're kind to each other, we don't argue, we support each other, all of the lovely things that you would want in a relationship. Now, I came to this understanding, I came to the 3 principles, God looking in this direction, because I had messed up so badly in my relationships. There is a link below this video in the show notes that you can watch about my story if you want to know more about that. But I'd been in a really abusive relationship and things were not great. Then I found the principles, then I got into this relationship that I'm in, and I saw that I could be different. The principles showed me that I didn't have to listen to my thinking and that I could be different. And I got curious about that. Was that possible? Could I let go of thoughts that rose in my mind that looked so real and true and be different? And as soon as I got curious and looked in that direction, it felt like space opened up in between my thoughts. And when thoughts about being the way that I used to be in my relationship, being a people pleaser, being manipulative sometimes, because people pleasing is one side of a coin and we tend to flip between the two. So either in my relationship being people pleasing or being bullying, manipulative, in those moments a space opened up when I got curious and I saw something different. And my relationship began to thrive. I began to see the results of doing that, of not listening to that thinking and not acting on that thinking. Then there were areas in my life, specifically my business, where things just weren't working out. So there were a couple of things going on here. One of the things is we get more of where we put our energy, we get more of the energy that we're in. And I noticed in my relationship, I am pretty much always in good energy. And when that energy comes up in me, because that's what I see, this is a huge way that you can know. It's not about the details. Don't get drawn into the details of what it is. But if I have any thinking about my partner, that the energy of it feels off. It's not loving. It comes... One of the ways that I describe it is it comes as energy. Like this morning when that voice in my head was telling me not to make this video. It's energy. That's how I label it. So it's knowing yourself well enough to know that. So I can feel that, I can recognize that energy. So I noticed in my relationship, I have zero tolerance for that energy, zero interest in it. I don't listen to it. And what I noticed, as I said this morning when I came to make that video, some of that, some of the details of it felt really real, and I almost acted on that energy instead of the loving energy. So if we go back to saying we get more of the energy we are in. So I notice around my relationship, I am pretty much in loving energy about that most of the time. I know that my goal with my relationship is to have a beautiful relationship. And so when anything crops up that it's not that, that's not the energy, that's not the way I'm thinking about it, that's not the direction I'm going in, that's not what I'm doing, I have zero tolerance for it. I just know, just don't allow that thinking to become so real. You don't have to believe that thinking. Then I noticed around my business, around any areas where I struggle a little bit, when that thinking comes up, it can look so real to me. And I also love thinking about my business. I love thinking about growing it. I love thinking about the people in it. But I can often have I'm putting more attention on what I don't have rather than what I do have, if you like. And so what I saw the two distinctions. It was an insightful seeing of, everything about my relationship is looking towards that. I know the end result I want in my relationship, and that's the way I'm thinking. That's what I know is going on here. And yet, because it can look so real, some of the things around not having enough money and things like that can look so real to me. It feels like my attention gets pulled there. So I realised, okay, what happens if you spend some time and treat your business as if it's exactly the same as your relationship, as exactly as you would with your partner. Do the same thing. And so I've been doing that for a while now. This isn't a new thing. And I've been doing it for a while, and wow, the exact same thing happened when I got to a space of, any time I notice that, well, you're not good enough, you shouldn't make a video. Oh, why is that person doing that? Oh, that person's business is... As I said, it's irrelevant what the details are. It's not in the detail. It's in that feeling. And the minute anything in that felt that way, it's like, right, that's not who I am. That's not what I want. That's not where I'm going. And I immediately looked to something beautiful, the fact that I get to do what I do, the amazing, beautiful summits that we do, the people that come to our conference, the people that I have as clients. I just started looking in that direction, doing exactly what I would do around my relationship and seeing something completely different. And wow, the amazing difference it has made over this last probably 6 months has been blowing my mind. Everything is changing and shifting around. And so I would invite you to play the same game. See somewhere in your life where you thrive, where it works, where it's easy for you. And notice that if you have thinking in that area, any kind of thinking in that area, you most likely just dismiss it. And in an area where you're struggling, whatever it is, when that kind of thinking comes in, it really, truly looks real to you. And I'm going to invite you, when that thinking looks real, to just get curious. Simply that, just get curious. Is this thinking truly real? Because the minute we get curious, trust me, however real it looks, and I have had bills land in my inbox and when I look in my bank, there simply isn't the money to cover those bills. And yet, the world does not work in a linear way. It doesn't work that way. When we shift out of that energy, we are born creators. Something different can happen. I have managed to pay £5,000 bills. I've bought a piece of land for over 100, a lot of money, over £100,000. Bought that piece of land with no money in my bank through shifting in this way, playing this game. So trust me, and I see this, it's true everywhere. So have a play with this. And I see, there's one other thing that I'm going to share here, and if there's anything in this bit that I'm sharing, thank you for still being here in the video. If there's anything here and you want me to make further videos that go more deeply into this, then let me know. Because there are 3 things that I can see that really block us and get in the way of us making these shifts, getting curious, playing in this way. Obviously, this is the love experiment. So the first and the biggest thing, and I guess they all come under that heading, is fear. So one of the things, the love experiment, which is why I wholeheartedly invite you in to play, and do comment below. I love to hear from you. I love to hear how you're getting on, what's showing up for you. So one of the things that really blocks us here is fear. And I can see that. In my relationship, I stopped being fearful and just decided, I made the decision that this was going to be an amazing, loving, beautiful relationship. I made that decision. I made a commitment. I made a radical commitment to that. And once I made that commitment, what opened up, I'm not going to say it was massively easy all the time, but what opened up in my mind was I started being shown, I started seeing space and seeing where I wasn't doing that. So I see when we are fearful around something, it closes down our mind. It fills that space. It makes the thinking that we have that looks so real, it makes it look even more real than real. And so fear is a huge block. And one of the things, the love experiment is a great way of dissolving that fear block. Just opening up to the idea, being invited into, don't live in fear, and even just getting curious. What would I do here if I wasn't fearful? That's a great question to ask yourself. What would I do here if I wasn't fearful? That is often a question I ask myself before I make my videos. What would I do here before I send emails, before I post? What would I do if I wasn't fearful? And that's a game changer. So fear is definitely one of those things that blocks. And the way that fear can sometimes show up also is non-forgiveness. One of the things that can be quite difficult, especially if you have had traumatic experiences, bad experiences, people do not nice things towards you, any of those things, it's really, really easy to hold on to that and not forgive. And yet, when we don't forgive, that's corrosive to our own journey, because forgiveness is much more, however much we believe that forgiveness is about the other person, and we simply cannot let the other person off the hook. One of the things I've really seen through reading the Bible and my getting curious about God, what's the big deal about Jesus, all of that, one of the things that I see is that when something happens, if somebody does something, there is a price to pay. Like, for example, if you take the example, if I was to reverse out of my drive and hit the post that's holding up the gate and damage my car, even if I didn't mean it, even if I forgave myself, even if I didn't listen to the nonsense in my head saying I wasn't good enough, all of that sort of thing, there are consequences to doing that. There are consequences to the damage to my car, the damage to the gatepost. There is a bill that will need to be paid to put that right. There are consequences. And forgiveness is like, if I was to forgive myself for bumping into the gatepost and not be mean to myself and not beat myself up for it, there would still be a bill to pay. So what I see around forgiveness here is what has happened in what's the big deal about Jesus. What he came to show us, what he was a living, breathing example of, was saying, I am going to pay the bill for you. I'm going to pay that bill. So you can forgive and take it that the bill has been paid. So when we have people in our lives that we simply can't forgive, what we are being asked to do is to, what the forgiveness is to let go of what this person did. In the gatepost incident, it would be me saying, oh, okay, it's okay about the gatepost then. All right, I won't beat myself up. I won't say horrible things to myself about my driving, who I am, all of that. I'll forgive myself. And what Jesus, what his dying, what that was that was him effectively saying, oh, and here's the credit card, you can pay for the damage to the car and the gatepost, and don't worry about it, the bill has been paid. So how forgiveness gets in the way to us is if we have someone who has done something to us, what that example is showing is that that person did something, and so there are consequences. You are suffering because somebody did something or whatever, and so what you are doing is trying to make that person pay the bill, or you want that person to pay the bill. Now, what's being said here is that bill, you can't pay that bill. You can't. It's not, you holding on to it won't make that right. But if you let it go, there is a greater power in the world that will judge, will pay, will sort that bill out for you, which is why it is so important that we do let go and do forgive. Because when we don't, when we hold on to it, when we try to do that, when it's something that's not ours to do, we can't do that. We can acknowledge that the wrong was done. We can acknowledge that this person, we can say we're fearful, we can say, we want change. But if we hold on to it, it's not possible for that to be cleared. It's not possible for us to move on from it. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, please ask me questions, and I will make another video to clarify it more. And then the third thing that can get in our way is non-submission. Now, when I kind of realised that, when that first landed in my mind, if he was like, I was like, I don't like that, sounds icky, I don't like it, no, not sure about that. But this is what I see around that now. It's like we are here in human form with, and the word God is the perfect word for me, with God, who has a much broader perspective. He knows things and can see things, and that has energy, is omnipresent, is all things, knows me, can see things that I just simply cannot see. And if I take the stance of thinking that I am greater than that energy, that I know more, that I can see everything, then I'm just not playing my part here, and it can't work. So take it like this. When my son was younger, he was in a football team and he played in defence. And pretty much after every match, everybody would be really saying amazing things about the shooter, the person who scored the goals, and barely mentioned the people in defence. And yet the defence was a really, really, really important part of it. Without the defence, the shooter, the ball wouldn't have been where the shooter needed it to be to shoot the goals. The game wouldn't have been won. So the defence was equally important, but it maybe wasn't glorified in the same way. Now, it's similar to this, when this relationship that we have, there is something here, whatever word you use, whatever it is you do, there is something here that is greater than us, and it's doing a job. And when I say greater, I don't mean greater as in that it's better, but it just, like a goal shooter and a defender, they have jobs to do. And it's better if the goal shooter stays and shoots the goals, and it's better if the defender stays in defence and does their job. If the defender decides to come up front, and I know very little about football, trust me, but if the defender decides to change and try to be the goal shooter, there's nobody in defence that, nobody is playing that part. So when we try to play God's role, there's nobody playing our role. So this simply doesn't work. So to me, what I see as submission now is to allow God to play God's role and me to play my role, and watch how life works out. It literally blows my mind. So a huge part of this for me is working out, okay, so what is my role? And in one sense, that's what it means, submission, seeing that I am defence, and I don't mean I'm in defence of anything. I mean, that's my role. That's what it is. And allow the shooter to have all the glory, if that's how it is. Allow that to be. And know in my heart what the important, integral, absolutely needed part that the position I'm playing is. And I am finding that, much as it was really difficult, and I wanted to be the one with all the power, I wanted to be this, it's like, actually, if I play this game, the game of life, hand in hand with this amazing power that it's not a power that's separate to me. It's not like when you think of the football, it's a team and everybody is a part of that. And it's the same. This game of life, we are team players. We are not here to do this alone, and we simply never will. So to know what this power with a broader perspective, God, that if we lean into that, what amazing things we can do here. So I feel like I've kind of covered a lot of ground in that. So please feel free to reach out, ask questions. I'm happy to bring clarification around this, and asking questions helps me clarify and helps me share more. So thank you very much. Thank you for still being here. Do check out the show notes, because there are other ways to go deeper with me on this. And honestly, there are some mind-blowing, amazing things going on, and there is going to be more coming. So take care, have an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.